them it's so for the broken. 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 Tell them it's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Boy, look around, we need hope. No question about it, can't get around.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Healing Broken Souls. I am Pastor John Boyanowski from Solid Rock Church of Warren, and we also have
Benny Powell, pastor of Greater Second Baptist Church here in Marion, Indiana, and we have kidnapped somebody's child.
Okay, he did.
Tell him your name.
Hey guys, it's your boy Derralyn Morgan.
Hey,
the cameraman.
The cameraman.
The cameraman, yes.
Derralyn is actually our cameraman for Healing Broken Souls. He does quite a bit with us. He also helps us on our Facebook page for Greater Second Baptist Church. We originally had his counterpart, Kyren Monteiro, on some of our earlier episodes. And one day, Derralyn walked into my office. He said, "Pastor, I want to do something." I said, "Okay, all right." Young man full of energy wants to do something. I said, Derralyn, we're going to get you doing something. He said, "Okay." He said, "But no, it can't be what I'm already doing. It's got to be something different." And I said, "Okay, that's cool, son. We're going to see what we can come up with." Normally when men walk in my office and start yelling at me, I normally snap back. But since I like this young fella, one of the reasons we invited Derralyn here today is because we're going to be talking about empowering versus enabling. And Derralyn was one of the young men that I took under my wing when I first got here. And he was one that really, really wanted to do something, but he kept saying, ain't nothing for me to do, ain't nothing for me to do. And so, when I came, we started Derralyn out on a few things, and he's done such a magnificent job. I thought this would be one of those greater formats to bring him on. Me and John have been together for many years, if you guys have heard. And
27.
And John, you're mentoring young pastors where?
Okay, so I've mentored a young pastor who is now pastoring in Fort Wayne at the City Church. Mm-hmm. I also mentored a young man who is now part of the Huntington Police Force, and he's a detective and everything, and he's ministering to the police officers there, so that's also cool. But I'm also ministering to new pastors and pastors overseas, and, they are in Nigeria, they're in South Africa, West Africa, they are in India, and I heard we just got a new one from Pakistan.
All right. So as y'all can see, John's been very, very busy helping the younger generation. One of the reasons why we want to help young men like Derralyn, because they have, in a sense, some brokenness as well. Derralyn, I want you to tell them how you were when I first got here.
Okay. I was angry a lot. If we want to just put it all and sum it up, I was really angry on the inside, just because I felt like my voice wasn't being heard, on all levels, right? Because I'm a young man, so obviously I think my peers of, friends of my age really wasn't listening to me. I always thought the older generation really just didn't care. Not more so that they didn't listen, but I definitely came into pastor's office with a lot of energy, a lot of energy.
Could we say attitude?
Yes. I definitely had an attitude about a lot of things, and not direct things like, oh, I just got punched in the face or something. More logical things like dealing with life, just wondering why, why this, why that, why this got to be that way, why this got to be that way, and just being under pastor, he just gave me the understanding of, it's more so about how we react to things and our creation, of it. So I had to just learn to stop dealing with things via my emotion, as in reacting or giving, just anything any more than what was needed, so learning to calm my attitude and not be so angry all the time, just helped me to move out of that state of mind.
And not to say that Derralyn was a bad young man. Derralyn was raised fairly well. I mean, he got good parents and got good grandmother. His grandmother is the mother of our church, and and love her dearly. But with a lot of young people, especially now, they're living in a world where they're feeling they are not being heard. And so instead of doing what so many people do with our young, we enable them, or we tell them or pull them and tell them what to do. We start empowering Derralyn. And and Kyren. One thing I told Derralyn and Kyren: if you bring me a problem, do what?
Come with a solution.
All right. Come with a solution. Don't bring me a problem and then expect for me to fix your problem. Bring me 2 solutions to help you fix the problem. Yeah. So this was one form of empowering. And the reason why I gave Derralyn that premise is to show him that it's his life.
Yes, it's his life, his choice. And, too many times we think that we have to fix it for them rather than, because sometimes God has us go through things to make us stronger. And when we take that opportunity away, we actually weaken the person more so than we do empower them.
Yeah. And one thing we want to do when we're empowering our young people, and that's one thing I really, really hope every adult hears today.
Amen.
When we are empowering our young adults, we want them to know that it's their responsibility for their life.
Yes, they have to have some sort of purpose in life. And if they don't have a purpose, then they're just going to flounder around aimlessly and not, and have the emotions that he has had.
So, Derralyn, how did empowering you help you so far?
Empowering me not only helped me inside the church and obviously be a better service member to my church, it also helped me to help the community, outside of the church. I know one of the things we was talking about just in those initial conversations was like, how were we going to get more young people like myself, in my age group in the church? So first I had to think to myself, okay, even in doing that, I have to make sure I set the example, right? So if I'm learning everything, under pastor in the church, week by week, I feel it's only right to exemplify, those qualities and level of understanding outside the church. That way those friends or, homies, as I like to call them, can better understand not only God and what he can do for you, but also, like Pastor was saying, it's our life, so really our decisions and the way we think and just how we move ultimately, determines like how we progress in life. So everything that I have been a part of, since I joined the church, and I joined here in 2018, I believe. Pastor wasn't a pastor here, but when he came, more of that empowerment came into place because I had someone to not only talk about the things that I wanted to do here in the church. I was talking to the pastor. So, prior to him coming, the membership was just telling me, you got to wait for a pastor. So at that point, I still felt held back. I couldn't really do nothing in the church because we didn't have a pastor. So definitely more of the empowerment came when pastor actually got here, and then we just hit the ground running.
So what drew you to Pastor Benny versus all the other members here at the church?
Well, Pastor, I had the experience to just be with Pastor outside of the church. Just like meeting him and knowing him in that first beginning stage, it was more being like related to him as far as like being relatable. Pastor was more relatable, as far as anyone else in the church at that time. Now, granted, my grandpa, he was in here, and like Pastor said, my grandmother is in here, but obviously, they're up in age, right? So Pastor was like closer to obviously like a father figure, and I do have my father, and I respect him and love him, dearly. But Pastor was just another one of those like father figures that I saw inside the church. So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, not only can I just talk to him on a personal level, I can also talk to him about God, and not be fearful, of the response, and one thing he always told me was, to not hold back, so if I had any question about God or the way of living, I could easily come and talk to him, with no hesitation.
And the one thing that I had to learn, even with my own children and with Derralyn and Taisha and Ann and all the rest of them, that Kyren that we have here at the church that's in this age group, is that, we can't treat them as a cookie cutter. Okay, every one of them has their own unique gifts and ability, and it's our responsibility to pull that out of them and instead of enabling, empower them. I remember when we first asked Derralyn to start our camera process here, I had my wife go home and get her Canon. Is it a Canon she got?
Yeah,
a Canon. And I said, okay.
That's a camera, not the actual Canon itself.
And so I said, okay, Derralyn, here's the camera. Here's the power on button. I don't know how to do the rest of it. Talk to my wife. She'll figure it out with you. And from there, Derralyn started learning, and it's still a learning process for him. Once you start empowering somebody, you can't get them started and then jump ship on it. You got to ride with them all the way.
All the way through.
All the way.
And what's important too is letting them do the legwork, because that's how they learn. You have some that are visual learners, you have some that are hands-on learners and things like that. And you just happen to find the right thing to motivate him and empower him to do better for himself.
Okay. What do you think about that? Do you feel that you are still being empowered, or do you feel like we just dropped the ball on you?
No. Now, if I was running off my emotions, right, I would say I feel like the church dropped the ball on me, right? But obviously during this empowerment, I'm able to now think and know and be like, okay, I've already been kind of molded into what I need to be. So the empowerment is forever ongoing. So obviously, like tomorrow, we're coming into a Sunday service. It could be a whole new set of just like new things that I just, take from the church. Pastor's sermon tomorrow can touch me in a different way to where I look at the church differently or in a better way, So I think the empowerment never stops. I think it keeps going. And not only just with pastor or any of the elders of the church, it also flows through me. So just now coming to a point where I can be an example for any more youth in the church, I think that empowerment has to continue on through me to them. And then, hopefully we'll see more young people in the church.
Yeah. And one thing I keep emphasizing to Derralyn, every day is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Every Sunday is not going to be the same. Derralyn would come in. No, that ain't what we've been doing now. Hold on, that ain't what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I said, Derralyn, just go with it.
Yeah.
Just work with it. It'll be okay. Oh man, y'all changing too much.
The only thing that is consistent is change.
That's it. Yeah. That's the only. But Derralyn has done great, and he has truly shown that he is learning the lessons that we are teaching him and God has given him, and he's truly taking the things that he has been empowered with to make himself a great man, and I'm very, very proud of him.
And I'm proud of him too, because it's like, if you heard him just a few moments ago, he says that I can help pass on to the youth. So he's already thinking ahead of being able to pay it forward, and he knows, because of the good examples that the church is setting, you're setting, of how to do that, to help them to overcome their own issues by using their own intellect and their own abilities.
Okay. So this is normally where me and John would sign off and tell you to like and subscribe, but we're going to leave that closing statement for Derralyn as we move on out of here.
Absolutely, man. So if you guys can, please continue to like and comment and share. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Healing Broken Souls Podcast. And we will see you guys next time.
All right.
Take care.
look around, we need hope. Dark world, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope, need hope, need hope. Look around, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope. But tell them it's hope for the broken. 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 Tell them it's hope for the broken. Yeah, it's hope for the broken. Yeah, it's hope for the broken. Yeah, it's hope for the broken. Boy, look around, we need hope. No question about it. Can't get around, the whole world around us need hope. No escaping battle. Let's talk about it. We imperfect people.